Hello everyone, Storm Warren here. Today we'll be having a weather update for the United States. It's looking to be interesting. This is kind of long-range forecast here. So yeah, I think the biggest thing to talk about in this is the excessive heat for a lot of people. So yeah, we're going to get started with the GFS on the 2-meter temperature anomaly. Like you see right now, good chunk of the United States already above average, but as Barry sits us around, could see some below average temperatures in there. Let's go to Thursday here. Keep in mind it is going to be hot later on this weekend. It doesn't really show that till whenever we get into like starting at Friday. A lot of cold air looking to be going into the northern plains and the northwest, even around California and the desert southwest is starting to see a cool down. Northeast, really warm up there. Let's go into Saturday. You know what? Honestly, do not know what's going on here. This makes no sense. It is still showing below average. Alright, I think the GFS is messed up. Hold on. Does it show the same thing on 6Z? It don't. Well, anyways, over here should be above average. You're talking about a lot of heat. We're going to have high pressure taking over anywhere from the Rockies all the way up to the northeast. Your high pressure at this point is going to be over Missouri and Arkansas. That is where we have excessive heat warnings. We got watches extending all the way into Ohio, Kentucky. We even got excessive heat warnings, parts of the East Coast, and even heat advisories there. For some reason, the GFS is not really showing that, which is very strange. It could be just some thunderstorms. But you can tell here, for some cities, it's going to be really above average. Talk about 12 to 16 degrees. I think that's in Celsius. I don't think it is in Celsius. I think it's just in Fahrenheit. It is Celsius. Okay. So it's going to be really above average there. Then we start to get a cold front to come through here. Now this cold front can bring along with some severe weather. We'll switch over to this. Here's Friday. Mainly dry, but it can be windy, so there could be some fire danger issues in the plains. Keep an eye on that. Here's Saturday. Here's where your cold front starts to sag south from South Dakota into the Great Lakes there. That should start to sag south there, and that is when your trough is going to be coming in. So here is Sunday into Monday. Can be some severe weather along this strong cold front, since you got a convergence with above average and below average temperatures. So it's a big temperature change. So this is going to be technically going to be a possible severe weather setup for the northern plains, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Midwest. So yeah, we'll take a look into those ingredients in a little bit. Here's Tuesday. Your cold front starts to go as far as the southeast, which is pretty impressive. You can see how strong that trough is. So here is into Tuesday. A lot of people's below average, and then you can tell the west is starting to heat up again. You can see this really continues on. It's basically the same pattern it did Suicide Northeast could warm up, but we're gonna see about that. So let's take a look into the supercell composite for the GFS here. As you can see here, it wants to give chances of severe weather. You know what? That's what's forgetting the SPC outlook. That's what I've been forgetting this whole time. I knew I was missing something. So let's pull up the SPC here. This is their newly updated outlook. We got 3 areas of select risk. Got one in the upper Midwest. Got another one in near the Rockies, in northern plains, and you got another one in the northeast. We even got a 5% going on in Iowa and Illinois for a tornado threat. Damage and winds is there. Hail, it's not going to be large, but it is there for northern plains. Where it will stick around. Damage and wind will be the main threat up in the northeast. Here we go for day 2. There's a slight risk extending from central Wisconsin into north central Michigan. We even got a marginal risk for portions of North Dakota and Minnesota and South Dakota. Seems like the main threat would be damage to winds. There's a small tornado threat there, and there could be some hail that is a possibility there. Day 3, that risk still hangs around for the very similar areas there. So here is Thursday evening. See, the GFS wants to bring mostly an enhanced risk for most of Wisconsin. We'll take a look into the forecast setting of that and see what that shows. Okay, I want to give a tornado threat that is possible. Your CAPE is pretty high near the surface, 5,191. That's a lot of CAPE. Very high CAPE. Shear around 18. So the tornado threat's going to be kind of low. It's going to be kind of a low end threat. We did have some earlier in the model runs. There was a capping issue. That's why there were some uncertainties with it. Now it seems like the cap is starting to be a less likely threat. Oh boy, look at Friday. Wow. Pretty high supercell composite here. You can see we got a lot of wind going on up in the atmosphere. We got a high CAPE. The shear is still low again. But with high CAPE values, there could be a tornado threat. No, not a tornado threat. A hail threat. Sometimes when you get really high CAPE values, the hail threat does increase. It doesn't show any matches, but CAPE can increase a little bit of a hail threat there. Your equinox is very high up in the atmosphere. So there could be some potential hail with this. Possible tornado from the forecasting. You can see it covers for a lot of areas. There's even a 20 showing up there. But I imagine it's very similar in forecast sounding. You can see the severe weather threat does extend out on the map both ways. So this is the point where it starts to sag south, as you can see here. This is Saturday night. Got 6 showing up for portions of Iowa and Nebraska. This is when the strong cold front starts to sag southward. This is Sunday afternoon into near evening. Starts to push off to the southeast of there. Let's take a look at 2 ingredients here. Let's go back to Friday. Oh boy, there's a lot of CAPE. Madison, 5,100. That's a lot of CAPE. If I can exit that off, it's like it's not going to let me. There we go. Let's look at CAPE and shear. Wow, it's actually pretty high, and that's not good. 2,000, haven't seen that in a while. Very high CAPE shear values there. Let's look into wind shear, and there is actually some wind shear to deal with this. This is Friday. So we'll probably talk about a possible enhanced risk here from the GFS here. 30 over 20. It does go near wait a minute, wind shear over 20 is in severe weather status. Cyan, that could be an issue here. There is some spots that are showing -10. There's even areas that are showing -50. So Cyan may be interrupting with that. So there is still some uncertainties with that. But we do have the lifting index is very high. So Cyan might not be a problem. Who knows? It may be able to beat the Cyan there. Let's look into holicity here. There is a lot with it. So This is not a good setup here. It does show damaging winds, possible tornadoes, and large hail. So all threats are going to be on the table, looks to be, for later on Friday. Let's go to 8 o'clock here. Let's go into Saturday here. See where the severe weather risk does move into. We'll probably be able to tell by Cape. Alright, starts to sag a little bit south. We're starting to see a little bit higher Cape values in Iowa. You can see Omaha and Des Moines. I do not pronounce that. I do apologize if I said that wrong. With Cape values 5,300, that is a lot. You really need over 500 or 1,000 Cape to get some severe weather or somewhat. That is a lot of Cape. Cape and shear values, thank goodness, this is going to be a little bit lower. And once again, higher amounts by Nebraska. But overall, I don't think it's not going to be too much of a threat for Saturday. For tornado threat watches from the Cape shear. Wind shear, it's not catching up. I'll say that. I think you really need stronger winds for this wind shear to catch up. But a low-end tornado threat's still there from this here. Let's look into the sign in. So we're not going to have any in the severe weather watch area. Lifting index fairly high, negative 14. So for any storm chasers, just for the GFX, you're probably storm chasing targets probably going to be in Iowa at this point. Let's look into helicity. Yeah, probably by Omaha could give a chance for maybe a couple supercells there. Let's move it to Sunday. This is when it starts to move a little bit further south. Right now, at this point, your severe weather threat is like states like Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Looks like we're having very strong winds near around Chicago. That could be a squall line there. Let's look into Cape and shear values. A little bit higher shear by Fort Wayne with 780. There, you can see the Cape shear values are starting to go down. Wind shear, there is a little bit by Fort Wayne. So there could be a possible tornado threat up there, up north. Sliding in could interrupt it a little bit. We'll probably find out about the lifting index. I don't know about that. It may be able to. Helicity is low for pretty much everybody. So Sunday is probably not going to be much of a severe weather threat. Well, much of a severe weather day. I think we just need to watch on Friday. Let's move on to Monday, which it does show some a little bit higher helicity values there. That's interesting. Lifting index is a little bit lower, so at this point your severe weather threat goes in states like West Virginia, Kentucky, Illinois, even Missouri here. This is where your severe weather watch area would be at. Your sign in, there is some around here that could interrupt this here. I just went the wrong way. Let's look at wind shear. Basically, we got almost no wind shear. There is some areas there's a little bit of wind shear, but tornado threat is probably going to be almost about zero. Cape shear, it's a little bit too low for a tornado threat. In the Cape, it is a little bit lower. Looks like when you go, seems like it'd be more an afternoon threat. That's what it seems here. We go back up to 5 o'clock. So probably in the middle of the afternoon to late afternoon is probably your prime time for some severe weather. We do have some strong northerly winds here as well. So yeah, this is all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoy this weather update video. If you all like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you got any questions about all this weather I just talked about, put in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.